What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Johnny Depp on the stand. So there were other things that happened today, but to me, the biggest thing, I think probably to the world, was Johnny Depp obviously getting up there. So I was very, very, very happy with his performance. And not even just not performance, him being him. I saw a lot of people, I was watching Nick Rekieta's stream, as I have been, as I will. And, I think overall, he did a phenomenal job. There were some people saying, like, well, why is he talking like that? What's with the I guess, the delays, the slowing down? That's how he talks. He talks very much exactly like that. I'm actually more blown away when I think of, and I haven't hid this bias. I mean, I love Jack Sparrow. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Is one of the most important franchises in my life for reasons I've said in the past. But it's actually more surprising when you think about Jack and you think about, well, Johnny Depp actually acts like what we saw in court, and then he has to actually change the way he talks to end up doing monologues and stuff in the way that Jack Sparrow talks. It's actually insane, how much he changes. But no, I think he did all of the right things. I really think he presented himself very well. We've said it before. Other people, like actual lawyers, people that know what they're talking about, have said it too. Hard case to win. It may ultimately come down to who's more likable. I can't imagine that Amber Heard is at any point ever going to be likable, but maybe she surprises people when she takes the stand, which, that'll happen obviously much, much later. So right now it's his time, right? He needs to come across, and I think he does it kind of naturally, as just he is this down-to-earth guy. He's a guy who crazy things have happened to. He wanted to be a musician. He is a musician. He just happened to get tangled up into acting. He succeeded. He tried to live, a kind of, I guess, introverted, and that's the word he said, right, kind of life. And then, as he became more and more famous, including with Pirates of the Caribbean, things became what they are now, where he does have this otherworldly kind of essence to him. And I've even talked about, I don't, even right now, to Johnny Depp, I don't look at these people like they're gods. I don't look at any of these people like they're better than me. I don't like it when people lecture me, when these Hollywood elite think they know everything that a normal person knows. And it is cool to get stories like Johnny Depp, because you learn, well, maybe it's just him, and I do think he's kind of an outlier, to be completely honest. These people can be pretty chillax. Now, he's obviously, he has his own things as well, but he never asked, that's debatable, I guess, right? But like, these things happen. And again, I think he presented himself incredibly well, and we haven't even gotten, we have, I believe that Umbrella guy, or Tugs, right? He said that the UK one, he was on stand talking in terms of questions and stuff for 6 days, and that counted the cross-examination. So that's when Amber's people get to attack him, which is what they will do. That the entire process took 6 days. I assume it's because he talks very slow, which is fine. And so we are in for, I think, this rest of the week easily. Still, I think probably tomorrow, the entire day may still just be his own people. Let's get through all of these different exhibits. When she says you did this, where were you, all this stuff. You have to get through all of that, and then, obviously it's their turn. But even in terms of right now, the 3.5, 4 hours that we got of him, he covered a lot of bases in terms of that childhood. That childhood is kind of depressing. It's kind of sad. And again, like, it's all very believable, because I do believe it actually happened. It's rough hearing that, the dad, it's actually insane, and I respect him, and I like Johnny Depp a lot, and it is sad to hear, like, the dad, he respected the dad so much. It really seems, he looked up to the dad. I think a lot of his dad's essence, and his dad's still alive. Much like Johnny Depp, I don't want to talk about him as if he's dead, because he's not. But I think a lot of that personality is in him, besides hopefully the hitting things or hitting the children, right? Because that was brought up, and that, he would basically just do what the wife, what Betty would say, and that's it, and so while he never took that as my father abused me, well, he did hit me, though, because, like, my mom told him to, and that's, just the way, and I agree. I think on Nick Rekieta's stream, they talked about it afterwards. His sister, who I think she did a great job, she really didn't sell it as much as she should have, because, like, I went along with it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's, kind of a messed up childhood, but no, it's like, it was really messed. I guess what I'm saying is Johnny Depp did a much better job of explaining the messed up childhood he had, and it's probably because of the way he talks, right? And do they let him get away with a lot. He just kind of talks. He multiple times, I did, and he did, right? Because he even said at the end of the one question, he said, I don't remember the the beginning of that question. I don't remember what the question was. There were several early questions about his family, about relationships that he kind of answered, but he more or less told a 15-minute story, which, to be honest, I actually didn't mind at all. I thought it was very soothing, and could it come across as boring? Yes, and I hope that it didn't to the jury. Honestly, I was into it. I did think when he was talking about, like, the art, I would say the one thing, when he was talking about art, he was talking about how, like, he gets his mindset into things. Nobody can relate to the things that he's kind of talking about, right? You can't relate to him being Jack Sparrow. So there is a level of it with that, too. But I don't know, some of it just got kind of boring, I guess I would say, just in terms of, like, a general viewer. And it's not like a minimal thing, right? People have said, lawyers have said, like, you need to keep them engaged. Like, so the jury, like, and I think overall he did an incredible job with that, because I think besides the one issue that I had, even when he was telling the story of Jack and all of these different movies and stuff, it's like, maybe some people don't find, and that's fine. I fully understand that, but I actually think it was like Access Hollywood, like inside the act. Like, it was cool. It was a cool little thing. And again, like, his story about his childhood. I mean, he told long stories, but they were while it almost seems like he has no idea where he's gonna go next, he's a pretty good storyteller. Like, it's a story. He's telling a story. It's got a beginning, middle, end, and he finds his way through it very naturally, and it doesn't feel like it is natural, but it is. So I guess what I'm saying is, throughout this entire thing, again, very personable. He came across, I think, very much so, where you can tell, again, yes, he is Hollywood, but, well, firstly, in the last 4 or 5 years, he hasn't been, right? But he's just a guy. He's just a guy, a different kind of guy, and he does have problems, and they started to address that with some of the abuse, of the substances and stuff like that. So we'll see where it goes. But I think so far, I don't really know what else you could have asked from him. Again, I think the biggest thing people took issue with is how he talked, that it was so slow. He has a stutter, right? So he's got that, but it's like, it's not like he's been putting on an act for the last 40 years and now this is sudden. No, like, this is how, and I even see some people say, like, for his age, I guess, yes, generally as you get older, you get softer, you get a little bit slower. That is true, but he's always, like, that's how he talks. That's how he does interviews. That's how he talks on the phone when they've had him in, like, audio things. That's the kind of guy he is. So, you could, I guess you can. It's a valid point if you think it. You could say, well, maybe he talks a little bit too slow. Yeah, but that's just, Amber talks very, very quickly from what we know, right? So she's going to be the exact opposite, and we'll see that reflected as well. And again, much like him, there really shouldn't be that many issues to Amber doing it too, right? Because that's just how these people are. That's how these people talk. But I couldn't have asked for him to do any better. He answered questions. He did a lot more than answering questions, right? He really set up his life story. He really made himself for being Johnny Depp, this guy with hundreds of millions, he's lost some of it, right? But hundreds of millions of dollars. Jack Sparrow, Edward Scissorhands, this guy that's almost larger than life. He did about as good of a job as you could ever hope for to make himself literally just an everyday person. You know what I mean? Like, he had problems at home that maybe some people can relate to. In fact, I'm sure a lot of people could relate to it, right? And he grew up, and yes, getting famous and all that stuff, that doesn't happen to everybody, but you can understand, and he made a big point of this, what's the difference between before Pirates and after Pirates, where before, he did have security, but then after, he had to have security on his kids, taking them to school or taking them back from school and to the house every single day. It was literally life because it needed to be. That's not an inflated ego. That's not a Hollywood elite, which, trust me, I bag on Hollywood elite. Ezra Miller's over there getting arrested again, right? I do not like Hollywood elite, but something like that, I mean, what do you want? People attacking the kids? You want people not even attacking, you want people, paparazzi, going up to these kids that are 8, 9, 10, 11, however old they would be at the time, and, like, just talking to them. It's like, no. So that stuff has to happen, and I think we know that, but we don't fully, we don't really, and so that's his opportunity to kind of tell us. So good job. I'll be watching all day tomorrow, and we'll do another video like this on whatever happens, whatever kind of the story. I'm sure tomorrow is going to be, okay, here's the instance where she said this, you said this, let's walk it through. Let's go over this, and I believe they have 14 incidents in all of whether she did stuff to him or he did stuff to her. They should try to cover all 14. They did it in the UK. They should do it here. So we haven't even done one yet. So we have a lot of that to do tomorrow. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you continue to like this. I mean, you guys crushed yesterday's video. Thank you so much for the support. I will continue to do daily videos as long as you guys want to see them. Hopefully it wasn't a one-hit wonder, right? But thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed so you know when these videos go up, bell icon. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I kind of live tweet this. My Twitter's in the description. I have a second YouTube channel. I have a Patreon and YouTube memberships if you guys want to support that. All in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on tomorrow's recap.